Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Spaccarelli from For the Need Foundation, and I'm here because we are going to be giving some sneak peek insider information into our upcoming boat racing day called Pool Day, Sail into Summer. So, we're going to hear from Shannon, who is going to be talking about managing stress and some tips on how to make the most out of our managing stress with these kids at the event. And then we're going to hear from her a little bit more about also some of our past lessons and how they relate to this lesson that we're going to be having at our event this Saturday. And then we're going to hear from Bob Allender, who is going to be sharing about the boat racing itself, a little bit of tips on how those boats are actually built, and just sharing some information about that so that you can go into it with the confidence to build the best boat possible and to have a ton of fun while doing it. And then lastly, I'll share a bit about our Arrowchievement sheets, which you've seen our rough drafts of in the past, but we are unveiling the new and improved versions with the guide on the back. So I'll share about that, and then we will open it up for a question and answer for the last 10 to 15 minutes. So without further ado, thank you everyone for being here, and I'll turn it over to Shannon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Super excited for this coming event. Managing stress is something that's very near and dear to my heart. So I'm super excited to be sharing about it. Just a little bit of a reminder, we always want to be building on the lessons that we learned in the past. So in February, we talked about setting goals so that we could go far in life. And so always we want to be building on that. Like, hey, what's your goal with this, with this event, with this day in school, whatever it is, focusing on the goals. And this event, they're going to be building a strong boat. So that's their goal, is to be building the strongest boat they can. Then the other event that we had was in April, and it was talking about, building your team, right? Making those healthy connections with people. We talked about the paths to CAFs, which was a really silly way of remembering to be kind, accepting, trustworthy, honest, supportive, not only to others, but to ourselves. And so just reminding them to talk nice to themselves. Don't, as they're going through and building this project, to not be talking down to themselves or to other people. We want to make sure that our communication is really kind and accepting in that way. So bringing in those two lessons into our lesson for the month, which is to manage and minimize stress levels. So first thing we do with managing stress is making plans for your goal. Not just having the goal, but making the plans and how do we get there. So as we're going to be talking about building this boat, we want you to be helping them think through, like, hey, what plan do we need? What kind of stuff do we need? The steps that you need to take to get there. So maybe you're planning how big it's going to be, where you're going to need to put the tape, or who's going to be inside and who's going to be on the outside, and just really thinking through the plans and the steps that it takes to get to your goal. The second part of the lesson in stress is communication. Like, if you have good, strong communication, your stress level can drop way down. Talking through the plan and what is needed is going to help the stress level to drop. Being able to ask for help, being able to really make sure that everybody is understanding what's going on. Communication is a huge part of stress management. So helping them and being the example for that, in talking through the plans, talking about what things need to be done, but also remembering to talk kindly, to be accepting and supportive to other people's ideas. And then the third thing in managing and minimizing stress is choosing your outlook. Like, how are you going to remember this moment? Like, when you're going through these stressful things, you're either going to choose to let it affect you negatively and beat you up over it, or you're going to choose to have a positive reflection where you look at things and go, hey, but okay, we didn't do this right, but look at how great we did that. Or, The saying that I love is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And so what can we learn from this, and really making a choice to take that stressful environment and really learning from it to make you a better person and having a positive outlook on those things. So that's the three main points that we'll be talking about for managing and minimizing stress levels. Is one, making a plan helps your stress level drop. Communicating what you need makes your stress levels drop. And then how you choose to take a look at it and reflect on it is also going to be how you deal with your stress. That will be communicated in the opening ceremonies. And so that's what we're hoping you're going to communicate throughout the event. While you're building your boat, you're going to be talking about these same things. Tips for success for this event is to, one, as the bow, you want to make sure that everyone on your team has a job. Everyone needs to feel valued and they need to feel a part of. So keep your eyes and your head on a swivel to make sure that everybody has a job, that everybody's participating. So managing and minimizing the stress levels, one is making a plan, taking the steps and going step by step. Number two is communication. So communicating what the plan is to others and communicating kindly and supportively can really help drop stress levels. And then you choosing your outlook, like when you reflect on it, how you're going to let it make you feel. You're either going to look at it in a positive way in how you're learning and what you can take from it, or you're going to let it affect you in a negative way. And that's really up to you as a person and how you choose to let it affect you. So that's the target. Then the tips for success is one is to make sure as a bow that everyone has a job. Everyone on your team has a job that they all feel valued and part of. There's always going to be those kids that are talkative and they're sharing and they're excited about it. And then there's going to be those kids that are a little bit more shy and quiet and kind of pull back and be in the background. We want to make sure that we're turning to them and asking what they think, asking what their perception is, or what part they feel they can add to it. Like those are the kids you're going to have to purposely draw out, and it's going to take good communication. So the second part of this is for you to make sure you're helping as a bow to be an example of communication, helping the communication to go smoothly and kindly, that they're speaking to one another kindly and they're talking about themselves kindly is going to be really important. Making sure that it's communicated what everyone's job is and what they're going to be doing. So as a bow, it's really important to be that example of communication. During our free time, we always try to give everyone, free time for conversations to just happen naturally. But we don't always know how to bring up those conversations to bring naturally. So one of the things that we can focus on during our free time is other things that can help us take a focus off of what's stressful in our lives and putting our attention onto something else that can kind of give us a break from our stress. For example, listening to music or doing art, maybe building things, creating things, reading books, or playing sports is a big way to really help us focus on something different than the things that are stressing us out at that time. So sharing your hobbies and your things that you do when you're stressed and asking them about some things that they might do or things that they're willing to try when they do feel stressed. So I'm very, very excited. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to myself, to Allie, to anybody on the staff to just kind of give you some more ideas on what to talk about during free time. All right, so that's my spiel, and I'll hand it over to Bob.
Good evening. Shannon, can you unshare?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay, cool. Let's see.
That works?
Okay,
yeah. Great.
Entire screen. Share. Okay, I'm going to bring up some pictures of this. I was involved in this in the past, and I'm going to kind of breeze through these. You guys can see these pictures, okay? Can you see that?
Yes, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, I mean, like this boat obviously did really well because it was encased in tape. So, and then there's one that's built a little bit less than that. And there's several versions of boats that these students came up with. And they actually really had a good time. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of sportsmanship. They're all in uniform because it was ROTC, but they all had a like a flag. You can see some of the names that they may have come up with, the Crusader. So that's just some of the photos. I'm going to go back to the video of the actual boat race and show you part of that, because this video is almost 6 minutes long. So, you know, they launched the boats. Somebody's got to get in it. Some of them have paddles. Somebody already sunk. And the idea is to get from one side of the pool to the other and back. And who can do that the fastest? You know, this one ultimately sunk, and it didn't take very long, because you can see that some of the creases aren't covered. And this corner right where this young man's back is actually the part that goes down. And it basically sinks to the bottom of the pool, while others are doing really well. So there's a coach with them, kind of talking them through it. Here's how you do it. You need to turn around, paddle together, be a team, work together. Skip ahead a little bit here. So that, I mean, they're moving right along. This one that is completely taped did really well. You can see the other one that's still going is pretty well saturated, but is still working. And then you can see the one at the top, they're struggling. So, you know, there's going to be some teams that do great and some that don't. And then they decided to finally get going. Up there they go. And enough water gets in and down it goes. And then they ultimately had to go back in and recover that as a team. So this is kind of the basis of where we're getting this from. And I think I can stop sharing now. There. So that's for the older kids. For the younger kids, we were talking about this a little bit earlier with a piece of cardstock paper. Pretty simple. It's just a simple 4-fold around the edges. And then you kind of fold in the ends, tape it, and then they can put it in. Wait, that's not focused very well. Sorry. They could put it in the bucket of water, start putting pennies in, and let's see who's holds the most pennies. It's going to really depend on where do they put the pennies. Do they stack them all in one corner? Do they evenly distribute them? Because obviously the ones that are evenly distributed are going to last longer. But I think this is an opportunity to learn and figure out what works and what doesn't. And I mean, we can say once you put a penny in, you can't touch it or move it. Once it's there, it's there. which will make them maybe think about, where am I going to put the next penny? And why am I going to put the next penny there? And granted, these are little kids. I'm sorry, younger kids. But some of them, I believe, will do very well. While some of them may take 15 right in the beginning, put it right in the middle, and it'll probably sink right away. So how this ties in with what Shannon was saying is coming up with a plan. There's time in the schedule for them to plan, how do they want to build this boat? What materials do they need to build the boat? Who's going to be in the boat? Are we, and this is kind of a group decision, are we going to let kids push the boat and basically like swim it along? Or do they need to paddle their way the whole way? But that means we got to have paddles. So, do they need more tape? We give them, 2 boxes and 2 rolls of tape. And that they're going to need more than that. But if they need more, now they have to do a challenge, which typically means jumping in the water and something that's going to make them a little bit uncomfortable. Then if they need another roll of tape, oh wait, but if you jump in, you have to do it with a teammate. So it has to be 2 people. But if they need another one or another item to continue to build, then different teammates need to do a challenge. It could be anything. It could be jumping off the 5-foot high dive. It could be submerging yourself completely underwater. We can come up with that. But my experience with this is the kids really, really like it once they get into it. It takes a little bit of pushing to get them involved and really being part of the process. Where the bows are going to come into play is getting everybody involved and getting everybody's opinion. And something I learned a long time ago is just calling out. I'll just use Angela for an example because her picture's on the screen. Angela, what do you think about this? Would you do it differently? Tell me how you do it differently. Or do you think it's great? What do you think? Tell me what you think. And you got to draw it. And some of these kids you're going to have to pull hard. Some of them they won't shut up. And that's okay. So, but then the bows are going to need to know how to slow down the talkative ones and say, Angela, you have really, really great ideas. They're awesome. I really want to hear from Allie on this one though, because I want to get her opinion. So don't discount the fact that they're participating so much, but draw out the quieter ones. I think that covers it for me.
Hi everyone, it's Allie here, back again. I'm going to be showing you our new and improved unveiling of our Arrowchievement sheets, as we're calling them, where the kids get to see all their goals, all the goals that we have created for them to hopefully achieve, and a space for them to create their own goal. And the idea behind this is that studies show that people who set goals and put them to paper are much more likely to reach them, especially when they're tracking their progress. So with this, we hope to inspire these kids to aim high in life and to hit all the targets they set before themselves. Some of those targets that we have helped come up with for them, in addition to goals they set for themselves. So you'll notice on the front side of the sheet, there are different achievements, targets they can hit. There's major targets, minor targets, bullseye award where they write their own goal. And then the attendance, the shield, is reflective of the events that they've attended. So if they've been to one event, if it's their first event, that'll be a blank space. Events 2 through 3, it's bronze. Events 4 through 11, silver. And events 12 plus is gold. So the idea is we want to incentivize the kids and really celebrate their attendance, because attending our events is a really big deal, and that's where we have the most impact with these kids. So attendance is huge. It's a big deal. When these kids are there, that's when we can connect with them. The major targets and the minor targets are not all of them are going to be achievable right away. Some of them will take time. For example, getting a job. It's not like your random kid in the red group is going to be getting a job. They're like 8 years old. But that's something they can look forward to in the future. And we hope that they stay in our program long enough to achieve all these goals. And that's really part of our goal with them. The tickets, I just want to note
that ticket section is reflective of the tickets they've deposited in the bank with the awards chief, and plus the tickets they've earned from their attendance over time that we have added in our system. So the tickets the kids have physically in their name tags that they win, that they're awarded at the events, are still going to be in effect. However, those function more like cash, and they can deposit those cash tickets into the bank with the awards chief for them to be reflected in their ticket bank on their Arrowchievement sheet. The event's pretty self-explanatory every time they attend an event. Books, if they read 5 chapter books while being in our program, each 5 chapter books, they'll get a charm for that and tickets, and each target they hit corresponds to receiving more tickets in their bank. So we want to really encourage these kids and award them when they reach these goals. Yes, so then reporting the awards, if a child comes to you and says, hey, I've reached this goal, tell them to report it to the awards chief. The awards chief is the person recording all of the targets that have been hit. And so that she'll record them in pencil, so to speak, at the event, and then they will get inputted in the system before the next event for that child to receive their award charm and tickets at the next event they attend. So that is how targets are recorded, is reported to the arrow chief, or reported to the awards chief, and then they receive that award at the next event they attend. And then if they want to report any awards, or if they want to report any targets they've hit between our events, they can always reach out to us at our contact information, which is 805-328-0970, or emailing info@fortheneed.org. With that being said, I think that's all the information we really need to know about this right now. And then you can kind of think of tickets as you're giving them to the kids as being worth roughly about 50 cents. That might change later, but for now, that's kind of the idea. And spending tickets is, I want to make a quick note on spending tickets. So why do they want tickets? Why do they care about tickets? For a couple reasons. We have a Arrow store that we bring to each event. It's really small. Trinkets, candy, bouncy balls, things like that, where they can spend their tickets in that prize box. Or they can write an item on our wish list, which is also with the awards chief. And it could be anything they could imagine. Disneyland tickets, Fortnite gift cards, Pokemon cards. Those are some of the ones we've seen in the past. And those are going to be wish list items that once they get close to that ticket goal, that we'll be able to get those items hopefully donated or purchased so that they can spend their tickets on those wish list items over time. So we really want to help them reach for the stars, dream big, and set those wish list items so we can find them for them and help them, kind of earn their way toward reaching those things. Just like kind of similar to real life. So yeah, with that, we want to be celebrating all their victories with these things and, encouraging them. Have you reached any of your new goals lately? And helping them report it to the awards chief if they need help with that or anything, just to really make a difference in these kids' lives. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you everyone for being on this video and for watching and learning more about our program so that we can best be equipped to serve these kids better and help them really rewrite their stories and all that. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Shannon, for speaking on the managing stress, and for Bob for speaking on the boat building. We really appreciate the time you've put into this, and we'll see you next time.